Yeah,
Like
because
that.
it picks up all. And welcome to today's segment of The Power of Money. I'm your host, Michelle Graves, nationally and internationally known as the Money Lady, and I remain committed to bring to you cutting edge information that will change your world. And today we have another exciting show, and I am honored that you are giving up an hour of your time to learn about some things that you probably didn't know, because truthfully, I didn't know either. But my guest today is Liz McGavran, and Liz is a, what do I call it, a clean living specialist. And you do know today that is a very, very real issue as we are confronted with challenges in our home environment, workplace environment, toxins, chemicals, and all kinds of ugly little things that make our lives complicated. But she's here today to educate us, and through education and knowledge, to empower us to begin to make the necessary changes in our lives. So without further conversation, just sit down, get a writing instrument and a notepad, because you're going to want to take notes. She's got a lot of critical and real helpful information. Liz McGavran, how are you today?
Great, Michelle.
Good,
Thanks for
good.
having
I am
me.
so excited that you are here today. And let's begin by talking about who you are and your background.
Well, I'm a green interior designer. I've been doing regular design for over 20 years. I started out fabricating for other designers and then opened my own business. So then about 5-6 years ago, I had knee surgery, and it just wouldn't heal, and I was in constant pain. So I decided to pursue alternative medicine in order to get it healed, and I finally found a chiropractor who adjusted my foot to get my knee better.
Wonderful.
So through that whole journey, I was just exposed to a whole different world of alternative lifestyle, healthier eating. I was always kind of like a health food nut. But it just brought it to a new level of awareness. And so since I felt so much better, I wanted to share that knowledge with other people. So here I am. I've been studying for the last 5 years, and a friend of mine introduced me to this book called The Healthy Home by Dr. Myron Wentz.
Okay.
Who was the founder of USANA. Okay. And I don't have any relationship with that company, but it's a room by room analysis of what is toxic and what's not. And that's what I've been trying to do with my new business, is go into people's homes and go room by room and tell them, this is toxic, here's why, and here's a healthier alternative. Because all these things cause health issues, and we've been really snowballed by the marketing and media,
sure. The media
that we need 10 different cleaners in our house. And each one of them has multiple chemicals and combinations of chemicals that have never been tested. So if you think your government is watching out for you, it's not. We're living in a soup, a toxic witch's brew, I call it, of over 80,000 chemicals.
80,000 chemicals, Liz?
Since World War II.
Oh my
And very
God.
few of them have been tested. And the EPA just kind of gives everybody their own, it's like the, what is it called? The sheep watching the hen house? I don't know.
Yeah, well, the fox watching the hen house.
Right,
Yeah.
you know, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
And, you know, so self-regulation, well, it doesn't work.
Well, we know that.
So,
we know that because Americans are all sick.
Exactly.
We're
so
all
why are
sick.
we sick? Why is there
Right.
more cancer?
Right.
Okay, so the CDC says that 80% of cancer is environmentally caused.
That
80%.
is highly disturbing.
Isn't it? Because
disturbing
so that
to me.
means to me that you are responsible for your health,
Right.
and here are some things that you can do in your home where you have the power to say, I want this in my house, I don't want this in my house. And
I think that's so powerful.
that's the important thing that I'm trying to convey to people.
Now, what is the name of your company?
Well, my interior design company is Liz McGavran Custom Interiors.
Yes.
And the website is lizmcgavran.com. But the
Okay.
new company that I'm forming to do these healthy home assessments and to be a resource for people online is greenyourstyle.com.
Okay. We have
Creating
it
a
up.
healthy home.
Okay. So let me ask you this question, and it's critical to me, and I must say this to my viewers: the Cincinnati Enquirer did a full spread on you right before Christmas, and about healthy homes.
For how to green your Christmas.
How to green your Christmas, which it was a big full-length article, and I was just amazed at the information that you provided for their readership, and it's still available online, I'm sure. And now, and you have tell me about that before we get into this other stuff.
What, the new article?
Yeah, I want you to share about
Right.
that evolution with the Enquirer.
Well, it was interesting. Brent Coleman is the feature writer for the home section.
Okay,
And
of the Cincinnati Enquirer.
Right.
Okay.
And as we were discussing the information for the Greening Your Christmas, he was talking about how he gets up every morning and he's all congested. And he said, I wish somebody could just come to my house and fix it. Like, tell me what to do. I said, I can do that. So anyway, so I was just there 2 weeks ago, and at the behest of the Enquirer, he proposed it to his editor, and they said, oh wow, let's do a story on that. Like, have her come to your house and we'll do a story. And I have to inject that I have a partner in this business, not formally, but informal partner, Dr. Jasleen Goal. And she's a pediatrician and is very dedicated to teaching people about the environment and causes of breast cancer. And she especially wants to educate young mothers. And that's my focus too, because children are so much more susceptible, right, that's the right word, because they're just smaller bodies, but they're still getting the same amount of toxins that they have to try to get rid of.
Even through the womb.
Well, here's the scary part. They did umbilical cord blood testing of babies, and they found over 200 chemicals in the babies when they're born. So the mother is transferring all these toxins right to the child, and then it has the unfortunate consequence of even maybe 20 years down the line, as a grown-up, you get testicular cancer because your mother had BPA, plastic, baby bottles, or I don't know, a lot of other things. But one of the major things is that they're finding in children is flame retardants, which are
flame retardants in the blood of a child?
Yes. And it's in our food supply. Believe it or not, it's in all the meats because it just stays there.
Flame retardant.
Yes, which is required by law. Another way to think that your government is not looking out for you. On all the cushions and upholstery fabrics, and the actual cushions themselves have like pounds of flame retardant in them. So what happens is it comes up through the fabric, and then it turns into dust, and then it goes on the floor or on your table. And then if you have young children, they put everything in their mouth, so they're going like this and eating the flame retardants.
That is utterly and completely grotesque.
I know.
Children.
So, right.
I don't want to. I don't want to get off focus.
But this is the focus.
But
this is your in your house.
This is in your house.
Yeah.
This is in your
And this
house.
is where you have some control about what kind of furniture you buy and how to fix it if that's what you have. So
because I look at all this autism.
Exactly.
Liz, we did not have autism.
I know.
When
I didn't
we
know
were
anybody.
I didn't know anybody that had ADD and ADHD and all these
Right.
bipolar. I'm like, what the heck is going on in our system
It's
over here?
chemicals.
Oh,
And these flame retardants also are called endocrine disruptors, along with phthalates, which are scented items. So that means it's a hormone disruptor, and it causes like early puberty. Well, early puberty in girls eventually could lead to higher rates of cancer and thyroid disease and heart disease.
so we
It
have a
increases
generation
your
of our children may
chances.
not be around.
Yeah, no,
They
they're
may
not going to
die.
live
They're
as
not
long.
going to live as long as we live.
Right. So that's
our
why it's
parents
important, to take care of them, because they can't speak for themselves. And
Right.
and I think it's critical as a parent, since you have this responsibility for your child, to learn and research and educate yourself and do something about it and be responsible and not just be brainwashed by all the marketing.
Well, it is a machine.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, when we talk about brainwashing, it's a brutal machine. If you want to find, I mean, we know that when people see something on television, it has a veneer of credibility, even if it's just blatant advertising. They believe it, and they
Right.
run out here and they do it.
Right.
So let's talk about how this process begins. If a woman comes to you, or a man, in the case of the inquiry gentleman,
Right.
you went into his home.
Right.
And tell me about
Right.
that experience.
So what Jasleen does is Dr. Goal, is she has all these gadgets and meters. So what we did before we got there was we had a air test that we had him set up, and then you put it back in the box and you send it off to the lab, and then it comes back online with charts and graphs and tells you if
What
you have
his air
mold or
quality is.
VOCs or formaldehyde, but it doesn't tell you where they're coming from. So what she does is she looks at that report, and then she'll go around with her formaldehyde meter or her VOC meter and see where these things are coming from, so that you can actually eliminate them.
Well, let's talk
But
about
we already
let's talk
already
about
know where some of
formaldehyde.
these are.
Now, what is
Right.
formaldehyde? I know it is, but
Yeah.
share with me what your experience. We do know that formaldehyde, which is what they embalm
Right.
human tissue with.
And what we had in biology class,
Exactly,
our
to
frogs
preserve-
were
frogs
embalmed
were all
in.
involved, and everything
Right.
was stiff
Right.
because it actually binds proteins and keeps them from. I mean, literally,
Disintegrating.
it pickles you.
Yeah, right.
So why is this such an issue? Is it in the home?
It's very much in the home. It's in a lot of carpeting. It's in cabinets, like the back, anything that's particle board.
Oh.
Pressed wood is glued, the glues that hold it together emit formaldehyde. And formaldehyde is a carcinogen.
Causes cancer.
Causes cancer, so we want to eliminate that as much as possible.
Okay.
One of the things that I found in my research was that it's used in permanent press, wrinkle-free fabrics. So when you buy a permanent press shirt, you have formaldehyde on you, and it goes into your skin.
Of course it does.
So you're being embalmed by your, wrinkle-free shirt
Wrinkle-free shirt.
and your sheets. Right,
my.
you're sleeping a third of your life in wrinkle-free formaldehyde. So one of the things I'm always telling people is to get organic sheets, organic cotton sheets.
100% cotton?
100% cotton organic sheets.
Okay,
Or
organic.
bamboo or eucalyptus or something like that, because cotton is the most heavily sprayed crop in the world. 25% of all the pesticides and herbicides are used on cotton farming.
For the boll weevil, is the
well,
boll
for all
weevil that big of a deal?
I guess.
Yes.
So, and then it also ruins the soil because all those things are
Yes,
going
they go
into the
right into the
soil, and
soil.
then that gets into the water supply. And it's very harmful to the workers, right, who are
Yes,
processing the cotton.
processing and harvesting it.
Right. And so those pesticides don't go away in the processing. So
And
I
that's just one. I mean, that's just one particular commodity, cotton.
Right. So you think, oh, I have 100% cotton. Well, unless it's organic, you're still getting the pesticide residue.
And now VOC, what does that mean?
VOC is volatile organic compounds.
Okay.
So these are gases that are released into the air. So one of the big things that I'm always speccing for people's homes is low or no VOC paint, because, you know, the fresh paint smell that makes you dizzy and nauseous, that can outgas in your home for up to 2 years.
2 years.
And they used to put mercury in it too for mold prevention. So not only are you getting all the other chemicals, there's formaldehyde in paint too. That's another thing. That's why you want low VOC paint.
Okay. Well, shifting back to this editor that you detoxed. So Dr. Jasleen went with her meter to first measure the environment. And then from there, and you sent your report, your findings to a lab where they did an analysis
of the air quality.
Of the air quality inside of the home that he was in.
Right.
Okay. And what was the next step?
Well, then we went to the basement to make sure that he thought he had a mold problem, but we didn't see any where he had a leak. And we didn't have a separate test for mold in the basement, so we decided we need to do that again, send out another, but we didn't really see it. And so then we looked under the sink.
Okay.
And a lot of the products were toxic, and she even measured the hand soap, which had triclosan in it, and which is a very toxic substance. It's in a lot of, believe it or not, even clothes. It is an endocrine disruptor, and it's in all the antibacterial soaps. So the side effect of that is it's killing the good and bad germs that you really only need soap and water for.
Exactly.
And then it's causing all these antibacterial high resistance, so that when you need an antibiotic, it's not working because you've built up a resistance with this triclosan.
Daily use of these soaps.
Right.
Which are actually detergents. They aren't even soap.
Right.
As I tell people, if you go to your wash detergent, it's cheaper because that's what you got. When you look at the typical bar of soap, it's a concoction that's absolutely frightening.
I know.
I know you do.
And the fragrances I think are very frightening because they all contain phthalates, which again are hormone disruptors, is the big problem with them. So I always tell people to buy fragrance-free products versus unscented, because fragrance-free means that there's nothing added, but unscented could still mean that they put in a fragrance to cover up the other fragrances to make it not perfumey. So, you know, unfortunately there are no regulations with natural, and all these terms are not regulated.
Which the industry has co-opted, by the way.
Probably.
When you go into a store, well, I was at a store last night picking up some items, and I just was amazed. I remain amazed because I do most of my food from the farmer's market and organic, or I grow my own. But it's just a plethora of stuff, row upon row of stuff, and I started just kind of turning the packaging around.
You can't
I can't
pronounce
even
any of
pronounce
it, right?
any of this stuff. I was like, whatever happened to just a basic ingredient, you know, simple. Simple.
Right, exactly.
Where are all these other things? What's that all about?
It's cheap products to get the job done for the manufacturers. So they're willing to go cheap but toxic.
And we're willing
because it's
to
all about
eat.
bottom line.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you think it's possible to produce under the traditional manufacturing model a safe, healthy, processed product?
Certainly, because there are companies out there doing it now.
Okay.
Right. So it's possible. It just costs a little more. But if you don't pay now, you're going to pay later.
Well, that's Fram oil. See me now or see me later.
You know, so how much, I always say, how much is your health worth? Because if you don't have your health, you don't have anything. You can't do anything unless you're healthy.
I couldn't agree with you more.
Because then life is a struggle.
Right.
And it's supposed
so
to be easy and fun and happy.
Wow, so
and people are just kind of like sleepwalking through because they're not well. And they can't even put their finger on, and the doctors can't find what's wrong with them. Right?
That is so...
They're tired, no energy, they have allergies. All these toxic things are causing a lot of our allergies.
Well,
because they're in our air.
Guy. So you go downstairs and you find that he doesn't have any mold.
Right.
And
but I walked into his laundry room
and see all this
and there are all these regular, you know, conventional laundry products, and it just hits you in the face as soon as you walk in the door. So we took the VOC meter and it just, you know, went really
crazy.
high. Yeah, along with, you know, the hand soap that we were checking, and and the one with the, you know, the blue, bright blue coloring. That's the other thing I tell people. If it's not clear, don't use it, because you don't need that any extra tar, coal-based food colorings that they put in products.
Is that what gives it that color?
Usually. Especially cosmetics.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
and so we don't need that. And it's in food, too, so.
They put it in food?
Jell-O.
Oh, my gosh, that's right. Jell-O.
Yeah.
Any gelatin base?
Right, and look at all the popsicles, blue popsicles.
Blue, right.
Like, it can't be good for you if it's blue.
That is so amazing.
I know, and we just take these things for granted.
So
yeah, we don't
you
think.
do an evaluation of the laundry room.
Right, and so I give him alternative companies, and like dryer sheets. Since when is static illegal?
I have no idea.
You know, why do we need something?
The marketing machine, you want your clothes that have been stripped of all of their, I guess, all of their softness. You want them to feel soft again, because sodium lauryl sulfate is absolutely toxic and will strip you of everything, your poor little clothes.
Right, and 1,4-dioxane in your laundry detergent, which is a carcinogen. Now, some of the big companies have agreed to take that out. Why is it in there in the first place?
Exactly. See, this is what I guess, Liz, it's a philosophy that I can't understand.
I can't either.
I'm so serious. Why would you set up a protocol to kill people and your own children and grandchildren? What is that about?
And you can say lack of knowledge.
Is it lack of knowledge? Is it evil? What causes a mind speak where you'd want people to be sick rather than to be healthy and happy?
To save a few pennies on a bottle of detergent to make your stockholders happy? Really?
Really?
I mean, that's what it comes down to. It's money. You know, here, save a penny here, save a penny there, and it all adds up when you're a multi-billion-dollar corporation.
Sure.
But it's unconscionable.
The ethics.
Exactly.
The lack of integrity.
Right. Right.
And,
so let's support the companies that do it correctly.
I totally agree. You got me there. So you got there. You do the detergent thing, and you find out that that's emitting all kinds of toxins.
Right. And then that gets on your clothes, and it gets into your skin, and your skin absorbs what, 60–80%.
Yes.
Right, of everything.
Yes, it does.
And within a year, you could have absorb 5 pounds of chemicals, whatever you're putting on your skin, or breathing, or spraying. You know, 5 pounds? Are you kidding me?
Which reminds
That's a lot.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
you know,
That's a lot. That
that's
is a lot.
5
Pounds.
boxes of butter.
Yes.
Okay, that's what we're absorbing. So doesn't it behoove us to really be conscious about what we're putting on? So that's the awareness. So here's a dryer sheet alternative.
Okay, give me a dryer sheet
All right.
alternative.
You put vinegar in your final rinse.
Yes.
Now I can't do that because I have a front loader, so I can't open it.
Okay.
But there's a company called ecosisters.net, and they have recycled wool balls that look like tennis balls. They're 2
Yes.
for $20, and they'll last you forever. You need 4 for a load. So for $40, you'll never have to buy dryer sheets again. There are no chemicals, and it fluffs your clothes and gets them soft and takes out the static.
Oh my goodness.
So who says it costs more to be green? It doesn't. In the long run, you're saving money, and you're using recycled wool.
Right.
So each one is a different color. One's plaid, one's red. It looks like, you know,
And
kind of a
you
Goodwill
just
mix.
throw 'em-
You just throw them in, and you leave them in your dryer, and you take out your clothes, and it's all fluffed and soft and nice, and no
Wow.
toxicity.
Well, I've been doing the vinegar since college because it's a chemical. You basically put in acetic acid to counteract the toxins that are the residual from the sodium lauryl sulfate.
Right.
So you put the vinegar in. I was at a laundromat, and I'll never forget, a woman said, "What are you pouring in your water?" I said, "Well, I got to get all that gunk out that's in my clothes." And she said, "Gunk?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "Salt only cleanses superficially. It does not clean deep. It cleans superficially, and it leaves a residual, which is why your clothes turn gray. Over time, it's the salt buildup." So I told her I dumped vinegar, and she was amazed. But
Right.
I'm going to do those tennis balls. I am. I'm going to do, because I don't use the softeners at all, because I don't feel comfortable with the chemical.
Right, right. And I always tell people no softener
Yeah,
at all.
none.
Yeah. And then the dryer sheets on top of it. You know, I mean,
Can you
either
imagine?
a lot of people do both.
Yeah.
And they say, "Oh, I love that
because
fresh,
our
clean smell."
society-
Well, it
Yeah.
smells cleaner when there's nothing in it than,
Right.
you know, all these artificial fragrances, which are very toxic to
But
our
I
bodies.
think, you know, Liz, we're talking about awareness.
Right. That's it.
And I thank God for internet. And I also thank God for
learned a
people
lot.
like yourself and Dr. Goel, because it's trying to shift from that marketing machine, spitting out lies and misrepresentations. Not funny at all.
No,
It's
no,
a
this is
multi-billion-
deadly serious.
This is deadly serious. It is.
Yeah, because it's our health
Yes.
and the health of our families
Yes.
that we are responsible for as housewives and mothers.
Yes. Yes.
It falls on our shoulders whether we like it or not.
Well, we are who we are.
Right.
You know, we are the ones, the purveyors of the home. So
Right, exactly.
that's women. So you go through, just
Right,
going back, so you
right.
went through all of his laundry detergents, made him recommendations.
Right,
So what's
exactly.
your next step? So that's the basement, by the way.
Right, that was
Right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And then you know, in the kitchen under the sink, you know, I just gave him the name of a couple companies that
Okay.
I like. Am I allowed to mention them?
Okay.
Seventh Generation, which I think is a phenomenal
I
company.
do use their products.
And they work. And I always tell people if they're prone to allergies to get the fragrance-free products.
And they are in the grocery store.
They're right there.
I mean, they are.
Yeah,
They are right
very
there.
easy. And then my other favorite company is BioClean, which makes a grapefruit-based spray, all-purpose spray for your counters or your tub or your sinks, and then you can use it on the floor too. But I really like their laundry detergent. That's my favorite.
Have you heard of a Mrs. Myers?
You know, I understand that they are toxic free, but they're very perfumey. And even though they're
Okay.
not toxic, I think a lot, I'm very sensitive to
I don't like-
odors.
yeah,
So if it has any kind of high odor, even lavender or whatever, they have different scents. I just stay away from it because I'm
'cause of the
sensitive.
perfume,
Yeah.
yeah.
So then I don't
like
recommend it if I don't use it.
Right.
Not that other people wouldn't mind. And I know they have dryer sheets that are non-toxic, but
I
you
don't
know,
know
if you
how
don't
that's
want the
possible.
odors,
I don't
well,
know how you have a
because
dryer
well,
sheet.
because you would use an essential oil
Oh, okay.
as your fragrance
Okay.
instead of a chemical,
Okay.
petrochemical fragrance.
Okay. I understand.
And that's the other thing. If you really want something with an odor in your laundry, after you've done all these pure things, you can take some essential oil and put it on a damp washcloth
Yes.
and put that in your dryer, and that'll distribute the essential oil fragrance. Let's say
Okay.
lemon or lavender, whatever you like. Just, you know, a drop or two, because essential oils are so concentrated, you
Yes,
don't
they
need
are.
much.
So does that particular formula make the clothes soft? I can see it giving a
No.
fragrance, but
No,
you
it's
know.
just fragrance.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No, the softness is produced by the balls going around
Yes,
and beating it
that's
up.
what- yes.
Right,
I'm going
right,
to do
right.
those balls.
Why not?
I know. I mean, do you have them?
I'm about to get them.
Well, then I'm going to get them too.
Because I'm not that crazy about static. It doesn't bother me. I pull it
Uh-huh.
apart and
Exactly.
it's done.
Exactly.
Like I said, it's not illegal.
Marketing.
Right, I know,
Marketing.
right.
I'm telling you.
And
You want to be clean. You want to be super clean. You don't want bacteria. And I'm like, there's good bacteria.
You want a little,
You want
some of
some
that.
bacteria going on to fight your bad bacteria.
Right,
You know,
exactly.
you don't want all of it gone, then you're really sick.
Right.
Okay.
So another topical cleaner that I recommend is a spray bottle of vinegar and a spray bottle of peroxide, hydrogen peroxide.
Okay.
Both very inexpensive. And you spray one and then you spray the other. And then you wipe your counter and it cleans 99.9% of the germs. So really you don't need anything else. You
So
can
that
clean your
again
whole
was,
house
okay.
with baking soda, vinegar, and peroxide, and borax,
I
and maybe
love borax.
lemon.
I love borax.
I mean, that's really all you need. How expensive are those things? They're ridiculously cheap,
I agree.
right? And this is what our grandmothers were using, and there are all these recipes. So another one of my pet peeves is the dishwasher detergent that has chlorine in it. So as it's running, you know how it vents out and you smell whatever is in there? Well, you're smelling chlorine, which is toxic, which is a cancer-causing chemical, which is also in your water. That's why you need to filter your water. But here's a great recipe for dishwasher powder. 3 cups of washing soda, which is the Arm & Hammer washing soda, and 1 cup baking soda. And so you mix that together.
Okay.
And what I did was I put it in an old box.
Okay.
You know, and then you take 2 tablespoons, you just pour it in your receptacle and wash your dishes. And if that's not enough, vinegar helps too, like another half a cup of vinegar if you have really hard water. And the other thing is citric acid, which you get in the canning department of the grocery store. And it's just a powder. And you mix like maybe a teaspoon. You add that, I just throw it in. And it just cuts everything.
Really?
That makes a huge difference. And a lot of I've tried like 5 different dishwasher detergents, and my favorite is the 7th generation lemon liquid. But some of the other ones just don't quite do it because they don't have the toxic chemicals in them.
Right.
So if you just add a little citric acid to those formulas, you're still, you know, doing green powders, but you're getting that extra cutting grease cut. It's not the grease, it just leaves a film. It doesn't leave your glass as nice. Kind of cloudy.
Yes.
They're clean, but they're cloudy.
Right.
So if you add the citric acid powder, then that's
That'll clean it
gone.
out.
Yeah,
And that is
right.
in your
That's an
canning
alternative.
section of your grocery store.
Right. Where they
Okay.
sell the ball jars.
Well, I
and the
want to go
pectin.
back to this guy. So you wrapped up the basement and then you went upstairs.
Well, we didn't get upstairs.
You didn't get upstairs?
Only because we were running out of time and his family was home.
Okay.
But what I did recommend, since he wakes up with allergies,
Yes.
is to encase his mattress
Yes.
in a dust mite proof cover because he's basically allergic to dust mites.
Okay.
So with a organic cotton cover, get organic cotton sheets, dust mite covers for his pillows. Actually, I told him to get new pillows because
Okay.
they were probably full of dust, and then cover them, and then get the organic sheets, and then get an air purifier.
Yes.
Because you have to have something to kill what's going on in your air.
Right.
So we both did major research and found 2 or 3 that we recommended for him, and they're based on the square footage and ease of use and you know what kind of filters they use. You want carbon to get rid of the odors and the formaldehyde and VOCs, but then you also want a HEPA filter that gets the dust particles and just really contains them.
Yes.
So I think, and you know, get rid of your carpeting because carpeting holds the dust in, whereas if you just have a hard floor, then you can damp mop it with just vinegar and water, and that should solve it and keep your bedroom furniture dusted.
Yes.
So really, it's common sense things, but I'm sure he didn't know about.
I don't think
Well, he didn't know which air purifier to buy.
Right.
So I narrowed it down.
Right.
Right. And it depends on what you're allergic to, or you know, and all the ratings and everything. So, should I tell you which one I recommended,
Well,
or not?
no.
No. Okay. Fine. You can call me and
They
I'll
can call
tell
you.
you which one I think is the
Exactly,
best
exactly.
after a lot
They
of
can call you.
research. So basically what I do is research on a customized basis what people need.
But I think this is so very powerful. Now, I do have an air freshener, purifier. I'm actually,
Different.
it's definitely different. And I've had it for, I guess, about, maybe 8 years. It's but I can assure you that when everybody had the flu this year, I didn't have anything. I said, well, my immune system is very tight.
Right.
But I do know that if you are sleeping in a toxic bed and your air is not clean, then while you're asleep, your other things begin to happen during
Correct.
that period of time that
Right.
you are in that zone. So
Right.
I totally support your assessment about the bedding, cotton, the organic. I mean, these are things that I kind of learned on my own because I'm so concerned as an individual. I look
Right.
around, Liz, and everybody is sick.
Right. Right.
God, it's
They are.
it's
But they don't know what's causing
but they
it.
don't know. And then as I said, I'm not comfortable with seeing all these medications and hearing people that are going through depression, and which is of course an offset of being sick and never feeling good.
It's a vicious cycle.
It's a vicious cycle.
Correct.
So you finished your evaluation. Was he satisfied?
I think so.
Because he's doing a story. They're going
Right.
to do a story.
Right.
Yeah.
So, you know, I hope I helped there. I'm going to be meeting with him later to finish up.
Okay. Let's hear some more.
Well, some other things to do in your kitchen are to get rid of plastic containers.
Yes.
Definitely don't microwave plastic.
Oh,
And
well, tell them about the wraps too.
well, the cling, yeah,
the clean free, or
wraps,
what are those
yeah,
things are.
yeah, you don't want to have any of those.
How do you feel about ultraviolet? I mean the microwaves.
I use mine to sterilize my sponges, and that's all I
Okay,
use it
that's-
for.
That's good. Well, but I don't microwave either.
You know, it just denatures the food. It
Well,
really kills.
it kills everything.
Yeah, it kills it.
There's not
So,
anything alive in that piece of meat.
oh, especially meat.
Yeah,
Right. So that's why I tell people to use glass storage containers if they have leftovers, you know, with a plastic lid, and don't use the shrink wrap. The other big thing is Teflon in kitchens.
Okay.
People have killed their birds by having a hot Teflon pan that's emitting toxic fumes. It's killed their birds.
Oh,
So,
no.
yeah, so they're phasing out Teflon in the next few years. So be
Yeah.
ahead of the game. Don't wait.
Yes. Don't wait.
And you know they're cast iron skillets, Pyrex, glass, and stainless steel
Yes.
are much better options.
What about that aluminum?
Aluminum is not good because aluminum is considered a heavy metal. Your body can't use it. It's been implicated in Alzheimer's.
I believe that.
Because it's in deodorant. That's our other big. So when you're cooking in aluminum, that gets into the food and you're ingesting it, and your body has a hard time getting rid of heavy metals.
Well, I think of the older generation, those that so many of the older generation that has Alzheimer,
right,
and aluminum was big.
yes, it
I mean,
was.
they
cooked
was,
everything.
They cooked everything
and
in
anything
aluminum.
with citric acid in it, like tomato sauce,
Yes.
especially. The aluminum leached into that,
Yes.
like sucked it in.
Yes.
So it's too bad, but now we know better.
So hopefully we will do better.
Yeah, because knowledge is only power if you use it, right?
Exactly.
Right. So plastics, microfiber cloths for cleaning.
Yes.
You just wet them and clean, and you don't even need any chemicals. You don't need anything. They just clean with water.
Oh my goodness.
So there you go.
Okay.
Right.
Now, is
One
that
less
because
thing.
of the little the texture of the fabric?
Right. Right.
that
It's all
clean-
polyester, but
Okay.
it I forget which it is, but it attracts the opposite ions. So if
Okay.
it's positive, then it's attracting negative, and it
Okay.
just stays there.
Okay.
So if you've ever tried to shake it out, the dust just doesn't come out. You have to
That's
wash it, and the
amazing.
dirt, and it's wonderful for stainless steel.
Really?
Yes, so you don't need any separate stainless steel cleaner.
To clean it, just
You
your
just need a
microfiber
microfiber cloth. It cleans everything.
Wow. Now, is that similar to the microfiber on furniture?
Yeah, it's all
Same thing. It's
polyester. And a lot of that is made out of recycled pop bottles, water bottles, which is a good thing.
It is a good thing.
So even though it's a petroleum-based product from the original thing of pop bottles, or it's still petroleum-based, it's a green process
Okay.
when you're cleaning, because you
Okay.
just use water, and then you
Okay.
just reuse them. You're not throwing anything away like paper towels,
Right.
You're not using up trees.
Right. Right.
So there's a trade-off on everything, right? But I think
Right.
the good of that outweighs the bad.
Well, if everyone does something,
Right.
they don't have to do everything, but if
And all at
everyone
once.
does something
Right.
to make a change, then we will see a shift.
Tipping point.
We will see a tipping point, and I absolutely
coming.
believe. Liz, I wouldn't
believe
have
it.
you on if I didn't believe it was coming, because the truth of the matter is like I said, everybody is sick. Children look weird. They have overdeveloped body parts.
That's the early puberty
That's
from
that
the
early
phthalates.
I'm like 8 years old.
That's from
and
your dryer sheets.
ugh.
I'm telling you. It's ridiculous.
I mean, come on, stop. But I do believe that we all want to be healthy. It's totally human for people to want to be healthy, to have good food, to have clean water, to live in a safe habitation, and to love their families. I believe this is essential, and this is what it's about. And when we are seeing the disruption, and it's probably cumulative, but it's now at that critical mass where everything is like that. So continue. This is good.
So let's see. We were talking about to freshen your air. Do
Yes.
not use air fresheners, especially the plug-in ones or the sprays, because first of all, usually they're aerosol, which is
Okay.
toxic in itself. The chemical that they use to make it the propellant. So another thing to use would be houseplants. So if you Google NASA houseplant test, they'll give you the top 10 houseplants that they figured out would clean in space, because there are a lot of toxic things within the
Going
space
on in
capsules.
Yes.
So spider plants, mother-in-law tongue plants, rubber plants. I can't remember them all right now, but if you Google that, you can find plants to use. And then the side effect of that is that there might be mold growing in the dirt. So recently I came across something that said you use the fish tank granules that you put at the bottom. You put that on top of the dirt, and that reduces the mold.
Really?
Yeah.
That's good.
So then, you know, you're not, there's no side effects.
The gravel
the gravel.
That's at the bottom of the fish tank.
Yeah.
Wow.
So then you're not reducing the effectiveness of your, you know, you're not causing another problem by trying to clean the air with the plant.
Right.
You know, because you don't want mold growing.
No.
And that's just overwatering usually, but
yeah,
you have to clean the leaves up and stuff. I mean, it's work, but you know, it really does help clean your house.
Well, I love my plants. You know, I'm a member of the Herb Society.
Right,
and
right.
my plants are everything, and I know that their job is to clean air.
Right.
And they do it so inexpensively.
Right.
They really do.
And they add a lot to our decor.
Yeah, they do.
Right?
They do.
Because they bring life into our homes.
Yes, they do.
Help clean the air.
As a sidebar, you do know that they are sensitive.
They are.
They know toxins too.
Yeah. Right.
They don't like that stuff either.
Right. So that's why they synthesize it for us.
Yes.
So the recommended usage is 1 plant per every 100 square feet.
Really?
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's, you know, like at least 1 in every room.
Yes, I would say so.
Yeah, or more. You know, can't hurt to use more. Let's see, what else do we want to? Oh, and drain cleaners are the worst, and oven cleaners are really dangerous products to have in your home. There are a lot of accidents.
Inflammable? Something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you get too close to one with a match and kaboom.
So here's a drain cleaning tip where you just, with our basic ingredients, you take a 1/2 cup of baking soda, pour it down the drain, 1/2 cup of vinegar, pour it down the drain, let it bubble for a while, give it like half an hour.
Okay.
Boil a pot of water and pour that down, and that's how you maintain a clean drain.
Okay.
And then there are also...
Is that the same with garbage disposal? You can do the
Right, sure, yeah, for any kind of drain. It's also a really good toilet cleaner.
Really?
Baking soda and vinegar. Just leave it in there, swish it around, and it, you know, obviously it's going to disinfect and make it smell better. And then, so air freshener, you can just use distilled water or regular water with a few drops of essential oil, or you can do the vodka spray, which you're familiar with, where you do 3/4 vodka, 1/4 distilled water, and then like 5 drops of lemon essential oil, whatever flavor you like, and use that to spray. And that does a really great job of freshening your air without hurting anything or anybody.
Okay.
That's like good. If you have pets, or you know, leave it in your bathroom, or if you're, you know, cooking fish. I think that's really important. And then the oven cleaner is one of the worst things, and it's one of the easiest fixes. Again, baking soda. You spray the oven with, what I do, I used my 1/2 and 1/2 vinegar water spray bottle that I use for glass.
Yes.
I sprayed it with that, and then you shake the baking soda, and what I did was I took my sponge and I made like a paste with it all over. And you leave it for a few hours or overnight, and you come back the next day with a scrubby sponge, and it all comes off.
Amazing.
So why do we need something that is, you know, when you're using it, you can't even stand to be around, you have to use gloves.
Yeah, gloves and masks.
Right, exactly.
Because the odor is so horrid.
Right. So, I mean, they're easy fixes. And all these things are online. There's all kinds of green cleaning books, make your own recipe books.
On my new talk on the subject of that, because we mentioned kind of informally about there's a big push for granite top.
Oh, right. That's the other thing I forgot.
Yeah. Can we talk about that?
Right. Well, radon is emitted by granite.
That's what it is.
That's what it is.
The radon.
And some has more than others. It depends on where it comes from, where it's quarried. So Dr. Goel has a radon meter that she can just go around and measure different levels. And we were just at somebody's house, and she had a granite table.
Yes.
And it registered pretty high.
Oh my gosh.
And her kids do their homework there.
Oh no.
So it's once you know that,
Yes.
you don't have to get rid of your granite countertops. You just don't put your children there, right, for hours at a time. You eat and you run.
Literally.
If that's where you're eating.
What can be done? You
really can't do anything about granite.
I mean,
right.
It's going to commit. The life of granite is infinite.
Right, right. And you think it's a green thing because it's a natural surface, and it's beautiful. I have it. I need to have her come test mine. But really, it's a hazard around children and pregnant women. You do not want to be
animals as well.
Right. Yeah, but you don't put your animals on the countertop. Do you?
No, I
okay.
don't.
Well, but I know like cats like to climb up and
they
stuff,
do.
right?
Yeah.
So, but that's a danger. Can't really do too much about it though.
Okay.
You just have to be aware and then not, use it as much.
So we've talked about the kitchen, we've talked about the basement, we've talked about laundry and other cleaning agents, as well as, so in the remaining time we have, is there an area you'd like to cover more specifically, other than, again, I'm going to encourage, if we can get the camera close up here, this is a book that Ms. McGavran recommends called The Healthy Home by Dr. Myron Wetz and Dave Wentz. May I suppose they're brothers?
Father and son.
Father and son, both of them doctors. That's wonderful. But it's rated by the New York Times as full of practical and accessible health advice that will help you get a good night's sleep. Yes, choose the right household cleaners and figure out what products to avoid. This seems to be an extraordinary book, and I need to add that to my collection. Yes. I'm going to do that.
Right. And while we're on the topic of resources, another one I highly recommend is a website called environmentalworkinggroup.org.
Oh yes, love them.
Which has a database of 79,000 products. So if you have a body wash that you're using and you want to see how it rates, you type it in the search, and it'll come up and it'll show you what toxins are in it and how it rates in their system. So I think that's a wonderful resource that everybody should know.
And EWG.net, I believe.
Is it net or org?
I think
it's org.
EWG.org.
Right. But if you just Google Environmental Working Group,
it'll
come up.
Okay.
And then the other one I really like is Healthy Child, Healthy World, which is another book like this that really focuses on the toxins in children's world. So it's very important to have a green nursery because, again, the babies can't fend for themselves. So you definitely need organic mattresses made out of wool and latex or cotton because the regular mattresses have flame retardants, which have been implicated in SIDS. Right, so crib death.
Yes.
And then you need organic sheets, again, because the baby's right there and spend most of their time sleeping. Most people, go crazy before the baby comes home and they wait till the last minute to paint and carpet and everything. So obviously low VOC or no VOC paint and really a hard floor, and really preferably not laminate because laminate emits formaldehyde from the glue where they process the floor. So either wood with a non-toxic finish or Farbo, linoleum, actual linoleum, which is made out of linseed oil and sawdust.
That is linoleum.
That's linoleum, the true linoleum.
True linoleum.
Right, and cork, I love cork. It's because it's environmentally friendly and it doesn't emit anything and it's easy to clean and it's resilient underfoot. It's great for kitchen floors.
Wow.
So, and then carpeting, wool, for, we're still on babies' rooms for sure, or living rooms or anything.
But wool.
Wool carpet, right, is
100%,
preferable to nylon, because a lot of the carpets emit formaldehyde and other VOCs.
Well, wrapping up, what would you, as we look at this new emerging world, which the Mayans did have it right. The world did end on December 21st. Things are never going to be the same.
Right.
And I don't believe we're going back. I really don't
I hope
believe,
not.
I hope not either, else I'm done. But I'm hoping that with all of this information, including Dr. Mercola's.
Oh, right. That's the other resource I wanted
Yeah.
to highlight was Dr. Mercola's website, which is a free newsletter that comes a couple times a week with all the latest information, and it's mercola.com, MERCOLA.com. I've learned so much from him.
Isn't he amazing? I've been on his site for 10 years.
Right, and he has
Amazing.
Safe Cosmetics.
Yes, he
has,
does.
I love
Yes,
his
he does.
shampoo,
I do
all
too.
his skincare and
Yeah.
everything, and I love supporting his site by buying his products,
Yes.
because that's how we keep getting all this free information.
Yes, exactly.
And then the other one I just came across was nutritionfacts.org with Dr. Michael Greger,
Okay.
who, when you sign up for his free newsletter, it comes in the form of a video. Every day he has a new 2-minute video showing all the latest studies. So he's not making it up. He's
Right,
just
it's right there. It's
extrapolating everything
factual,
and
yes.
saying, well, here's what they found after all these studies. Da, 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 da. So that's he just talked about the early puberty and the flame retardants.
Well, listen,
So,
we've got
place to learn.
well, this is all awesome and great information, and I am so appreciative. We didn't get to cover some of the other subjects, but I'll just have to have you back.
Okay.
That's okay. And we'll talk about some of these other areas, but this is a good start. And for those of you that are viewing in today's segment, my guest has been Liz McGavran, who is a very well-established interior designer in Cincinnati, Ohio. The Cincinnati Enquirer has highlighted her focus on green living and toxic-free homes. And I would that you would consider doing your research yourself. If you need additional assistance, give her a call. And again, my commitment as always is that you live healthy, you stay wealthy, and that you are wise. I'm Michelle Graves on today's segment of The Power of Money, and as always, God bless you. You have an amazing day. Take care.